Chad, hey, congratulations for Sniper Rogue Mission.
Thank you. We're very excited about this one. It drops August 16th here in the States on Blu-ray digital and DVD. And yeah, this is a fun one. We're very excited to get this one out there. It's a lot more popcorn, and I think people are going to see what we mean in mid-August.
Well, most excellent. Well, I mean, this is for you returning back to the franchise. I'm not even sure how many have you done of this franchise?
I'll tell you what, I'm running out of fingers to count. But I came on with Sniper Reloaded. That was the 4th in the series. This is the 9th in the series. So I believe that's, my gosh, what is that, 6, 7 movies. And, you know, once we hit double digits, I'm going to stop counting because it's just, my brain can't handle it.
So tell us this, why do you love this franchise so much that you keep on coming back over and over and over again?
Well, I could list off 50 reasons, but I think we'd run out of time. If I'm going to start at the beginning, it's because I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I grew up on G.I. Joe cartoons and action figures and all the amazing, you know, action films that came out of that era. So I've been a huge fan. To be able to play a pretend soldier, you know, in TV and film and video games is such a dream for me. So that's one thing. Also, working with Sony has been such a pleasure, you know, to keep doing these movies, the amazing talent I've been able to work with over the years, whether it's Billy Zane or Tom Berenger or, you know, Dennis Haysbert coming back to join us on Sniper Rogue Mission, and my current co-stars, Sayaka Akimoto and Ryan Robbins. And it really, the franchise keeps getting elevated. And that's a big testament to our writer, director, producer, Oliver Thompson, our contact Daniel at Sony, who makes these things happen. They're not just resting on their laurels. They're trying to push the envelope. They're taking it in new, entertaining directions. And I love that because I don't think that they have to. The audience is there around the world for these movies, but they strive to make better movies, more entertaining movies every single time. And I think this one, you know, people are going to discover that the way that they shot it, the humor that's infused into it, the buddy cop stuff, and the action, it's going to be something they haven't seen before. So very excited for everybody to watch it.
I know it's actually kind of funny. It was because I didn't know there were more sniper movies, because I still remember my first sniper movie I saw was with Tom Berenger back in the 90s. I mean, that's just aging myself at this point, but yeah.
Listen, I remember that movie fondly. You know, I was very young, but I remember that opening scene, that opening sequence of Tom Berenger in a full ghillie suit coming out of the shrubbery as a chopper comes down to pick him up, and it's such an impactful opening scene, and I remember that movie so well. So I still have to pinch myself. It's still very surreal that I'm a part of this universe. I'm a part of this world, of this movie franchise, because I grew up on it and I enjoyed it and I loved it so much when I was younger. So it's been a real blessing for me, and I hope that we keep going not only into the double digits, but into the hundreds.
Hundreds is asking for a lot. That is for
cybernetics at that point, but you know, I'm down.
Now, you've been part of this franchise for a very long time, and obviously, if some of us who watched the first Sniper movie, there's a lot of changes that has occurred within this franchise. Could you tell us about the certain changes that comes into this film now than when you first started?
Yeah, so Brandon Beckett's taken such a journey, right? We see him in Sniper Reloaded a decade ago as a boots on the ground infantry Marine. And then he learns the way of the long gun thanks to Billy Zane's character. And then so he becomes a high level soldier and a specialist, you know, with the sniper rifle. And then we start to see him get away from that. He starts to be more of a special operative working with international, you know, teams and stuff like that. So he gets out of the rank and file and he joins kind of the plug and play missions around the world, taking out bad guys. So he becomes more of an international soldier. And now we see him in this movie, Sniper Rogue Mission. He gets a desk job at the CIA. and we're really looking at a different side of Brandon Beckett, and he just finds that, oh, there's a lot of red tape here. Oh, there's too much bureaucracy here. And, he's got that itch that he's got to scratch where if he sees something and it's not right, he's going to go off script. And unfortunately, that's a big no-no in the CIA. So, no spoilers here, but he doesn't last long at the desk job and goes about his business. So I think what they've been moving forward is you've got a bunch of really unique, kind of soldiers, human weapons, if you will, with different specialties. And they are basically forming more and more of a team, gelling together to go off and do the important, gritty work that the world needs done. And they're doing it without having to answer to these possibly corrupt or possibly just bureaucratic or political organizations that kind of hold them back from doing the right thing and making things well.
Now, for doing multiple movies, especially with some of the returning cast at this point for a film like this, is this much more advantageous for you to work with familiar people, or do you like to work with new people once in a while?
I love that in Sniper Assassin's End, we established Ryan Robbins as Agent Zero. We established Sayaka Akimoto as Lady Death. Dennis Haysbert as the Colonel has been established in previous iterations, installments from the franchise. So I do think there's something to be said for having that rapport, for being able to, have those same dance partners, coming back to work with, and that lends itself to the fight choreography. It lends itself to the scene work that we do. And I think it's a pleasure for, the script to be able to write the evolution, add the layers to the relationship. And I think you start to see that really come out in this movie. Me and Agent Zero have more buddy cop, banter than ever. And it's very fun and it's very entertaining, and we hit it off with Lady Death again when we meet her in this film. And then we introduce a couple of other fun, wacky characters like Intelligence Pete, who is our tech guy hacker, who's just full of zingers and one-liner and loves his orange soda pop. And then, of course, the Colonel, too, coming back and having his kind of stoic demeanor and gravitas that he lends as a de facto kind of team leader here. So I really love that. I love that these characters are coming back. It's a pleasure to play with them. They're all wonderfully talented actors and great to even do fights with. So, I hope we keep that going in the future.
Is the humor always been injected into Sniper, or there's just more humor in this film than before?
I think what you saw in the past was, we were a little bit more gung-ho. We were a little bit more sober in the military approach to things. So, there weren't a lot of wacky moments. There weren't a lot of zingers because, what we were doing was very serious. I loved how it's opened up a little bit where we're kind of having fun with the interaction between the characters, but we're also getting the job done and we're making the world right. So I love that this movie Sniper Rogue Mission does, I think, balance that beauty between the humor and the banter and the buddy cop stuff with the seriousness and, the grave issues before us and getting the job done and doing it well and doing it in a grisly way, half the time. So I love that it's pure entertainment. It's popcorn because you kind of get the best of all the things with this movie.
No, of course, it does tackle a serious topic of sex trafficking. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so the plot centers around a brutal sex trafficking ring that the team discovers. It could have links to high-level corruption in government agencies. And so it's not something that we're going to turn a blind eye to. And we decide to get involved, even though no one wants us to, of course. So we do what we have to do to expose this terrible crime against humanity and to try and make the people who put this together pay. Everybody from the thugs at the bottom to the corrupt people at the top who have a dirty hand in this. So it is a very serious issue, and it's something that it feels very different than what we've done in other movies. It's a lot easier and more comfortable when there's clearly a bad guy or a soldier gone wrong who's out there killing wantonly. But when it comes to this and human lives and basic rights and freedoms and stuff like that, it's really taking this franchise in a new direction, you know, in the social issues and that sort of spectrum. So I love that we did it. I think it makes for a completely different movie. It's not one soldier versus another soldier. It's, you know, it's soldiers or former soldiers fighting the good fight for what's right, you know, in the world.
And that's the popcorn flick. Hey, Chad, be honest. How do you keep your soldier's body after all these years?
My number one bit of advice for staying in, you know, pretend soldier shape. Let's not forget that I'm a pretend soldier and I couldn't hang with the real ones. But my philosophy has always been, you know, don't lose it. And I gotta imagine it's harder to get it back if you let it go. And, you know, listen, we make these movies at a certain level with a certain budget. You know, as much as I love Sony, they're not going to give me 6 months of a personal trainer and, you know, all the supplements and consultations and nutrition that I need to become, you know, Captain America. You know, we don't have the advantage of that, but it's on me. I love it for my personal life. You know, I'm very active and I've always been that way. But I do think that if you're going to try to play soldier, you should represent them well. And soldiers at these highest levels, they are fit of mind, you know, body and spirit. So I take that work seriously to represent them in that way. But, you know, is it tempting to go and wrap a film and then eat a dozen donuts a day for months? It is. But you know, blessings to Chris Pratt and Channing Tatum, who can turn into Magic Mike and then have 6 months off and do that. But then they got to go and get rid of all the fun that they had, you know, and that for me seems torturous. So it's better for me to just keep going what I got, rather than having to start over again and again and again. So, you know, we just put the donuts aside.
All right. Well, it sounds great. Well, one more thing, Chad, before I let you go, because I always wonder, you know, a pretend soldier like yourself, can you actually shoot a sniper rifle? I want to say, of course you can. You're in Call of Duty, but you know.
You know, the humble brag would be, of course I can. But it is a very complicated process, and I've shot some long range stuff, and a lot goes into it, and it's harder than you think, as you can imagine. And what most people don't know, it's getting through sniper school, you know, in the armed forces is one of the hardest things ever. Some say it's arguably harder than becoming a Navy SEAL, because of the arithmetic it takes, the thinking it takes, the field craft that it takes, and then of course the accuracy that it takes. And then also, you know, have fun lying motionless for 7 to 10 days straight. How does someone have the mental capacity to do that? You know, so really it's an unbelievably specialized skill. I won't make any bones about it. You know, I probably couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. You know, I did grow up shooting and I'm very comfortable with that sort of stuff. But at the same time, I'm not going to pretend like I could pick up a sniper rifle and do it as well as the best in the world can do it.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you're the best pretend sniper on screen. So congratulations, Chad. Thank you for carrying this conversation with us for a Sniper Rogue mission. Hopefully I get to do this 100 times more.
I hope so too. Thank you very much, King.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Bye now.
Bye-bye.